Hi guys, it's Ryan from On Mission, and today I thought I would bring you my top books of 2018. I set a goal in 2000, the beginning of 2018, to read more, and I definitely did. I think I over tripled the amount of books that I read in 2017, which isn't like saying much because as much as I love to read, I just did not used to make time for it. It's like as soon as I had kids, like I had all these aspirations to like still read all the time, and it didn't happen. And then last year, I typically don't make New Year's resolutions, but I did last year. Um, and it was just that I would take more time to read. And I definitely did that. And I was very proud that I did that. Um, Now, seeing some other people who have done videos similar to this, I'm like, oh, I did not read that much compared to a lot of people. But you know what? Improvement is improvement. So we'll see if I read more next year. Or this year, I guess. It's 2019 now. Crazy. So I thought I would do my top three nonfiction and then my top three fiction and kind of say why they were my favorites out of everything I read last year. So this is just for last year. This isn't like all time or anything. Last year, my third favorite nonfiction book was Present Over Perfect. That was a pretty popular book. I think it was released last year. And typically, nonfiction books that come out that are super popular, I'm not that into. I don't know if it's just like that rebelliousness in me or something. I don't know. But this one I actually liked. There were a few things that I didn't love about it, but it really spoke to the perfectionist in me, and it spoke to like my obsessive to-do list personality, and really just kind of opened my eyes to like, do you want to accomplish much or accomplish what you need to and be at peace? You know, what's more important? And so that was just kind of a good reminder for me and very eye-opening as to like what I was putting effort into and if it was really necessary and why I was putting effort into it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Again, didn't agree with everything on it, but I really enjoyed it. And my second favorite book of 2018 was, you guessed it, Boundaries. The one that took me forever to read. But the reason why it took me forever to read is because I don't have boundaries, or I didn't. I'm working on them. I did not have good boundaries with my time and with what people expected of me, and with what I expected of myself, really, was the main thing. So I just talked about this in my December book review, so I don't really feel like I need to go into that much detail. If you want to know more about it, you can look in my December book review. But I really loved it because, again, it was very eye-opening as to, you know, why I always feel frazzled. Apparently this is a theme because both of those spoke to that. And why I am just always scrambling and never feel like I've done enough. And it's because I didn't have those perimeters out there and I didn't have my priorities where they needed to be. So there you go. And my favorite nonfiction book of 2018 was Raising Men, Not Boys. I do not have the author's name right here, but I'll post a picture of it. And that was amazing because I came from a family of all girls. I have three little sisters, and I have a half brother that I wasn't raised with. But so I knew very little on raising boys. I didn't even have any examples to look at. And I have only three boys. So there was some things that, like, you know I wanted to instill in them and wanted to teach them, but I was just like, I don't really know how, or, you know, and not that this book has all the answers because God alone has those answers. But this is a biblical based book. So it did point out a lot of different scriptures and things, and it just gave me kind of a broad scope of, you know, things I can be doing and why I need to be doing them and how they're going to benefit my kids. So that was by far my favorite nonfiction book of 2018. Now to fiction. This one was a lot harder because I read a lot more fiction last year than nonfiction because I picked books that took me forever. So my third favorite fiction book of 2018 was Harry Potter. If I could just say the series in general, that'd be great, but that's not really fair. And I believe read only the first 4 last year, and I plan to read the rest of them this year. But my favorite of those 4 was The Prisoner of Azkaban. I just am a huge Sirius Black fan. So I don't know. It's just very good and reminiscent. And I listened to those, and the recording I listened to was like a very good, high quality recording. So it was just very entertaining and such a good story. Just love it. And then my second favorite nonfiction, I have my list over here, so I'm looking down here. My second favorite nonfiction of 2008, or fiction of 2018 was, again, a series, but I can't just say the series. So Anne of Green Gables. I just started reading those last year for the first time. Harry Potter I'd already read before, or at least most of it, some of it before. I don't know how many books I've actually read. But Anne of Green Gables I had never read before. Started it last year, and the last one I read was Anne's House of Dreams, and it is my favorite. The first one, was really just like, oh, this is so sweet, and then every one since then I enjoyed, but they're just so lighthearted and so just kind of one note. They're very good, but they're just very light, easy reads. But House of Dreams had some good stuff in it, and some very emotional and intense stuff, and it was just a whole new breed compared to the other Anne books that, or in my opinion anyway. Loved that book. And my first favorite book of 2018 in the fiction genre, oh, here's Anne's House of Dreams, sorry, didn't even hold that up. So good. And I'm working on making a collection of these. I have most of them now. I think I'm only missing 1 or 2. So anyway, my first favorite book from the fiction genre of 2018 was, I don't even be able to tell what this is, Uncle Tom's Cabin. There, it's on the spine. And this, again, was a first-time read for me. Again, I am trying to read through some of the classics and award-winning books that I never have read before. And this one completely blew my mind. So good. It was a little rough getting into it first because it's, a pretty big book. And there's kind of a lot going on, and you're like, wait, who's who and what's what? But once I kind of got into the story, I want to say I couldn't put it down, but I really could, because I needed time to process it. It was just very I don't know. I just had a lot of feelings in this book. And I loved the, I know there's lots of different themes you can get from this specific book, or any book for that matter, but for me, I just loved the overall, through Uncle Tom's story, the overall feeling of, life isn't always good, and life is oftentimes very hard and very unfair to a lot of people. But in the end, God is good, and because of him, life can still be good even when it's not, if that makes sense. And I think that's a good takeaway for any person, no matter what kind of things you're facing. Life isn't fair, life isn't always good, but God is, and your life can be good because of him. So that is definitely my favorite book of 2018 in the fiction category. So I would love to know below what books you absolutely loved this last year, and maybe I'll put them on my list, or maybe we can talk about them if I love them too and I've already read them. So I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.